The National Mini Cooper Day takes over Kerborough Sprint Circuit every summer. Organised by members of the Mini Cooper Register, it's a chance for the enthusiastic owners to see and test their little cars to the limit. John Rhodes was a star Mini driver back in the 60s.
I went from Formula Juniors to occasionally drove Formula One cars for Bob Gerrard, who was a very well-known sort of amateur driver, and I actually drove in the British Grand Prix. I'm just an ordinary sort of motor mechanic, always have been. Having been involved in building Formula Juniors, I got to know the team manager that was racing the Mini Coopers at the time. And I happened to be at Silverstone, and I better go. And I managed to hit the same times as John Love and Tony Maggs at the time, so John Cooper signed me on. My style of driving was always looked as if I'm going to have an accident at any moment. And it was due to the fact that I jumped straight out of this Formula One car at Silverstone into a Mini Cooper, which it felt very slow. And of course I went flying into the first corner, absolutely flat out. Went for the brakes, and of course there are no brakes on a Mini Cooper. They're a bit better nowadays. So I threw it sideways, and I thought, well, hey, this is the way to go from now on.
I started racing Minis, I think, probably in seriously in 64, 65. And I really only had 2 years racing Minis. So I think I've probably done about 10,000 racing miles in them, and now I drive them. I wonder how I ever sat in them for that long, actually, because I'm quite tall. And they're very harsh to drive, but yeah, great fun. I mean, in those days they were the thing to drive. They understeer far more than anything else does. All the weight's in the front. The type of suspension was totally different. They were just a totally different little car. They were giant killers, whereas the conventional engine in the front and the axle at the back and gearbox in the middle produced a lot heavier cars and things. These could just keep up with them, and very often by slipstreaming them we could hang on very well. Cars that were very much more powerful.
Mini owners loved the chance to show off their cars, and the concourse competition brought out the full range of Coopers from the present day back to the early years, accessories included.
It started off as essentially a fuel-saving car, a sort of a family saloon to save fuel in the Suez crisis, and became a World Championship rally car. It became a race car. It became loved by millions, and the Mini Cooper in particular sort of epitomises that for me. People see it as the sporty version, the hotted up version of the car. That's what it does for me.
Hello, Neil.
Hello.
You're going to trust me with your car then, just for a few minutes?
I think so, yeah, just don't bend it.
Can I borrow your helmet?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Wish me luck. Right, I'm off. Wow, I was shaking. That was such an adrenaline rush. That was just amazing. I want another go. Unfortunately, Neil said he won't let me use his car again, but he has given me this little model to take home with me.
So Paul, you're normally a Mitsubishi Rally man. What are you doing here today?
Well, I'm a real Mini fan as well, and these are fantastic cars, and as you know, it's the 40th anniversary, and I wouldn't miss this occasion for anything.
So days like these, this is your fun time out, is it?
Yeah, this is a bit of fun, a bit of relaxation, get away from the pressure of World Championship rallying.
What makes the Mini so special to drive for you?
It's just a fantastic manoeuvrable car. You know, you can drive it so easily. The steering is really sharp, the handling is good, the brakes, engine, everything. It's just a really fantastic car.
Can you tell me a bit about your car? Because with the bonnet up, the engine just looks immaculate.
Yeah, well, we spent about 2 years restoring it. It's a recreation, shall we say, of the RAC Rally winning car from 1965 when Rano Altonen won the RAC Rally. It's the only time the Mini won the RAC Rally. So we've put the car back to its original state. We've got the original build sheet, all the equipment on it is as the car was when it won the RAC all those years ago. So it's a little piece of motoring history.
Well, next week is the last in the present series of classic cars, but we'll be bringing you our rundown for the car of the century. This legendary little machine is surely a contender for the top slot. To see which other cars make it to the final 10, join us next time.
Hello and welcome to Classic Cars. The last in the series, I'm afraid, but we'll pack as much as we can into the next half hour. And as the millennium draws to a close, we choose 10 of the best cars of the century.
In over 100 years of motoring, there have been plenty of hits and misses in automotive design, but there are a lot of cars out there vying for the #1 slot.
So here it is, popular car pickers, the top 10 cars of the century, as voted by the readers of Classic and Sports Car magazine. At number 10, a quirky little French number built to the following design brief. It must have 4 wheels and an umbrella and be able to cross a plowed field carrying a basket of eggs without breaking any. The Citroën 2CV. Oh, and it had to accommodate a driver wearing a hat. Gliding in at number 9, the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. Built between 1906 and 1925, this was Henry Royce's masterpiece, which earned the title of Best Car in the World. In 1954, Mercedes applied all their race-winning technology to the fantastic 300 SL. Voted number 8, it cost $3 grand new. Today, this gull-winged beauty will set you back over £100,000. Sacre bleu! Another Citroën in the top 10? The spaceship-looking DS flies into our chart at number 7. It was the revolutionary replacement to the Traction and was still ahead of its time when production ended in 1975. The Flat 6 is in at 6. Many think of it as the yuppie status symbol of the 80s, but the Porsche 911 has more to it than that. Beautifully made, compact, practical, and a blast to drive, the 911 has cleverly evolved from 1963 right up to the present day. We're down to the last 5 in our countdown to the car of the century. The Ferrari 250 GT short wheelbase Berlinetta is a bit of a mouthful, but it will leave you drooling. Designed for competition, it doubled as a user-friendly road car and won many races in the 60s for Sterling Moss and John Surtees. Surtees once said that he'd love to have one tucked away in the garage. Who wouldn't? At number 4, the E-Type Jag. A combination of low price, performance, and sensuous curves made the E-Type an instant legend when it was unleashed at the 1961 Geneva Motor Show. It topped the magic 150 mph mark and is arguably the most recognizable sports car of all time. Crawling in at 3, the Volkswagen Beetle. Over 20 million were built over an incredible 54 years. And if any car can lay claim to being a cult item, it's the Beetle. The people's car is without question the most successful car in the history of the automobile. VW's new Bug may steal the hearts of a new generation, but it will never eclipse the original. At number 2, the Ford Model T. Now this is the car that more than any other put the world on wheels. It was a car for the masses. If Laurel and Hardy could afford one, who couldn't? The Model T dominated motoring in 1919 like Microsoft dominates computers today, and contrary to popular belief, they were available in many colors, not just black. So what is the car of the century? Well, no prizes if you've already guessed. It's the Mini. No car has had such a significant impact on the hearts of the public and the world of motoring. The Isagonis invention is as much a part of British society as cream tea, the Beatles, and Michael Caine. A true legend, even before John Cooper got his hands on it. Well, we've given you the best cars of the century, but what of the worst? Here's a quick rundown now of the dodgiest motors ever built. At number 5, the Wartburg Knight. The Russian-built Moscovich is at number 4, while at number 3, it's the Morris Marina. In the runner-up spot, it's the Smoky Trabant. And the award for the worst car of the century, well, that goes to the Austin Allegro. Yes, we all know someone who's owned one. Awful shape, terrible build quality, and some even had square steering wheels.
Well, that should upset a few people, Sarah. What's your car of the century?
Well, as you know, Simon, I'm a big Lotus fan, and I think this car has to be up there with the best of them in the next 100 years. But sadly, that's it for this series.
We've had a great time over the last 6 weeks driving some really wonderful machinery.
We'll see you next year on Classic Cars.
Bye-bye.